All right. Well, thank you both for being here. And I guess we might have somebody else joining us here in a little bit. But yeah. Um, First, Zao, I just wanted to say, I think for a lot of people, short film exists basically as the precursor to the newest Pixar movie. That seems to be about what people think. I think a lot of mainstream people think is like a short film. So can you just talk about kind of like what drew you to, working in this medium and that kind of thing? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us, Lise. Well, I've always wanted to be a filmmaker ever since I was little, and it's always been a passion, a love of my family. I was born and raised in China, and everybody in my family is in the film business over there. So they're all directors and producers. So that was my world, and I started acting when I was little. So that has always been how I interacted with the world. And coming to America at the age of 14, it became even more of a way for me to connect, for me to decipher, to understand and make sense of the world. So yeah, so I have done feature films, I've done a lot of shorts, I've done documentaries. Um, and I think in particular, I think all filmmakers pretty much start with short films, especially if you go to film school like I did. And there really is a way for you to hone that storytelling skills, both visually and in all aspects. Um, with a short film, and then of course in the feature, you expand upon that. So for this one in particular, it started out as a feature film. We wrote the feature during the pandemic. And then coming out of the pandemic, I just really wanted to make something very quick. Um, and so we took a part of the feature film and kind of reshaped it into a standalone short. Um, and in a way, it's kind of a proof of concept for the feature, but also just to kind of try out a few things, see how these elements could work in a short. But of course, with a short, it still needs to be a complete film, complete story. So we made some adjustments to the short. But of course, it was not as easy as you think. It never is. But
No, I actually,
it was all worth it. Here we are.
yeah, I actually wouldn't think that it's easy at all, because that's literally kind of one of the things that I was talking about, or wanted to ask about, was you have these time constraints and you have to obviously be economical with storytelling. And of course it is just like going to be
Yeah,
a
right.
snippet, but still complete. So how does kind of like putting that together look like for you? Do you like storyboard it or whatever? Because it really is like a full story.
Yeah, it really was a process from the script stage to filming to editing. At every stage, you have to shape it in a way that's economical, but also exciting. Excitement takes time to develop, to set up, and especially tonally, we want something a little funnier in the beginning. Totally not going to prepare the audience for what's going to happen later. So it's also important to set up the character's relationship in the beginning, in a matter of a few minutes. So we worked on the script a lot. I have two other co-writers who helped me create this piece in the especially for the opening section. There are two parallel actions happening with four characters. So how do we mirror their relationships? How do we contrast their relationships? And I think the editing really was the process that really shaped what the film is now. How do we take out one line here to make the next line stand out more? But how do we set up that relationship without taking, forever to get there. So I think all those decisions really came about through just the process and collaboration with the editors, with the producers, and friends and colleagues who've seen the films and giving suggestions.
So Elise, I'm sorry, this is Joyce. I'm
No,
sorry.
thank you.
I'm
Hey,
actually
Joyce.
right now, so it's a little bit loud. Apologies. I just want to say really quickly that like I think of short film as espresso, and I think of features as like a big cup of American coffee, right? And so it's like just like espresso. You got that little bit to make it amazing. And so every single second counts. Literally, I'm not like a panel, like every second counts. It's so true, right? But it is then about it's the setup and the punchline. Can you set up a short film well enough to land the punchline and do it in our case like 14 minutes?
Yeah, Louise, I was going to ask also, as like a producer with this, like, what do you feel is like your role in kind of helping shape that as well?
Well, for me, like, I think what I love about working with Zao and Joyce is that, like, we plan as producers. We're like, we want to plan every shot. But Zao, like, when we're on set, it's literally like chaos. But then we're all like collaborative, and we all want to like, we're gonna test anything out. Like, it was such a rough shoot. Um, we were in the forest, no running water, no electricity. We had to cross over the creek to bring all of our things. It was crazy. Our porta potty didn't show up until the day after. It was like really bad. But when we're
So nobody
there,
went to the bathroom. Nobody went to the bathroom the first day.
but when we're exactly, but like when you're there, it's like the magic happens, and everyone's just like willing to make things work. And that's why I love what Zhao said about like it also got shaped in the editing. And Joyce is saying every second counts, because really, like Quentin Tarantino said that editing is the last rewrite, and that was what we were doing as we went along, like rewriting every single thing.
Awesome. Yeah. So can you talk a little bit about the title of the film? I love it because again, it just has this like very subversive kind of thing going with it. Yeah, can you just talk about that some?
Yeah, I'll start. I think the title evolved a little bit, from the script stage to the filming and then to editing. So I think we really came upon this title during the edit, and because we want to tell a story about a family, right? And in the story, the father has a book. Basically, it's like a little guidebook for outdoors, kind of like Boy Scouts, field guide kind of thing. So it just kind of, one day in the editing room we're cutting, and it's just like about this family figuring out what to do on this hunting trip. It just suddenly felt like, oh, wouldn't it be interesting to call it something like a family guide
Wait,
to
we had
hunting?
to add this though, because this is what happened. This is the producers jumping in, right? When we were looking up the titles, I was like, there's so many things called Unconditional, which is our original title. And I was like, we can't name that. We will not cut not cut through the noise. So then I was like, Zao, give me a different title. This is not gonna cut through the noise. And that's where like I think Zao really was great.
Yes. Great. Yes, that's right. That's the part that I forgot about. But yeah, so that was really the motivation. How do we be different, right? I think anytime we're making a movie, we wanna have something that's never been said before, never been seen, and, striving to be original, to be unique. And I think that title kind of just encapsulates everything. It's not just what's happening on screen, but it's also kind of an emotional guide for the family on a hunting trip, right? And of course, from the title alone, you can't really tell what kind of film it's going to be, which is great because a short film's all about the surprise. Yeah, so I think, and then of course it has this subversiveness to it. That's also tonally really what the film is as well. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think like, and this film really does kind of go through it. And I think that's one of the interesting things about short films is that they do tend to like elicit big emotions in a quick amount of time. And I
Mhm.
thought, I mean, that's always what I guess that's what I'm looking for when I'm watching a short film is like, what kind of emotion can you get from me quick? Because there's not that time to like
Mm,
build and everything. So
right.
yeah, and I love this one because it really does like, and I'm usually just like, if I get one good feel from a thing, then that's it. And this is kind of interesting because it really goes through this like comedic setup and then whoop, it's not that anymore. So yeah, can you just talk about, I mean, I think that's just an impressive little moment there to be able to make that switch and make it feel natural, not like forced or whatever. So yeah, can you just talk some about your process and kind of thinking through that?
Yes, I've always loved movies. Well, to me, I think films are like, for I think Joyce used the coffee analogy. What I like to say about all films of all length is that it should be a buffet, right? Love food, film should be a buffet. Short film, big film, there should all be a buffet. So as such, I love movies that are funny and sad and horrifying, contains all these elements, all these emotions, a wide range of just like life. Um, and so in mimicking life, even a short film should go from funny to sad to horror to fear, and catharsis. Um, and so that's kind of my general approach to the kind of films I like to do. I want the stories I want to tell. Um, I was also curious to make a film that's funny in the beginning, and then the turn, and it becomes something totally unexpected. Parasite has been a really big influence, and just seeing how something so funny and wild and almost slapstick to then turn into something so dark, and yeah, so that was really the inspiration and kind of wanting to try something different, especially with this story. And the story itself really lends that kind of structure.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
Joyce, Louis, you guys
Yeah.
want to
Yeah,
jump
I
in on
mean,
this
like,
one?
yeah, I wanted to say, like, what is even genre? Like, everyone's like, oh, are you a drama producer? Are you comedy? I mean, they're all mixed in together. This film has
Mm-hmm.
drama, it's got comedy, it's got maybe like violence. Like, what is it? We don't know. And
Mm-hmm.
we love that, like, our slot is called Off Your Meds because it's like, it's just cuckoo. And, it's like, this is the film that I want to make. I want, like, as a producer, like, I don't know, I want to make films that are crazy that like you don't know how to slot it, and and like it's pushing the envelope and the genre forward.
Fantastic. Yeah. And I think, yeah, this definitely does that. So can you talk just about like your experience getting the film into Tribeca and all of that, just a little bit about the nuts and bolts of that? Yeah.
Joyce or Louis, you guys want to jump in on this one?
Uh, I apologize. My everybody just came out of the session, so like all the Wi-Fi is used up, so I'm a little choppy right now. So I apologize if this is, I was like literally like everybody's like when I'm talking now. Um, so I mean, like we're very lucky that Zhao had another film at Tribeca 10 years ago, and so he was already on their radar. And I think with this film, we went through the submission process of submitting it to Tribeca, like you do on Film Freeway, and you reach out to people that you remember you and hope that they like the film. And I think that, it's like already knowing that Zhao is a known filmmaker and somebody who's well respected in Tribeca. I think when they watched ours, they're like immediately like, this is so Zhao. This is like Tribeca. How do we get it? Like, how do we make it work? Kind of thing. And I think we're really, really lucky in that regard. But I think it's a testament to the quality of the film itself because, when you watch it with like our score and our sound design and our color, like all those elements come together. And even me, who's like was there in the cold, in the snow, no electricity, hiking a mile and a half to the bathroom, I was still blown away watching it. And I was like, oh, this is a really well-made film with a really great story and amazing performances, like legit amazing performances. And I think that's what got the attention of Tribeca.
Yeah. Well, thank you all so much for being here today. I wish you all the best of luck on Friday with the premiere. I hope everything goes well. And yeah, just thank you for taking time to chat with me a little bit.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Yes.
This is great
Thank
talking
you.
to you.